I really believe that the more grateful that you are, the more you can teach yourself to remind yourself to be grateful every day, really, truly is the springboard to happiness. Gratitude, the more grateful you are every day, the more happiness you bring into your life.
If you knew that you could experience the best life ever, would you try? Are you heading along the right path in life? Welcome to Change Your Mind, Change Your Life with your hosts Jim and Lynn Swearingen. In our program, you'll learn to dispel the myths surrounding hypnosis, and by doing so, start to piece together the life that you've always wanted. Now, here are your hosts, Jim and Lynn Swearingen.
Welcome to Change Your Mind, Change Your Life. I'm Jim.
And I'm Lynn.
Bringing you uncommon solutions for common problems.
Do you feel you don't have very much to be grateful for? Has life been a series of disappointments? Are you afraid that life won't get any better? Well, stop it. You are a powerful magnet, attracting to yourself the things you think about most. What are you telling yourself today? Are you lost in a negative mindset that invites negative results? You can change your thinking one thought at a time by nurturing feelings of gratitude and sharing your appreciation with others.
Darryl is the author of Mastering a Healthy Self-Image, a guidebook to real happiness and enormous success, and is one of the top 10 Amazon bestseller authors. His book is an inspirational yet practical blueprint for overcoming adversity, achieving unstoppable self-confidence, and attaining your goals for personal and professional success.
Darryl's story of personal transformation and his astounding success are both truly inspirational. How a disfigured, abused, and emotionally scarred boy raised on welfare rose to amazing heights in the business world and became a self-made multimillionaire.
I know Darryl is a widely successful entrepreneur, generating billions of dollars in revenue, and Darryl is an experienced investor, real estate authority, financier, public speaker, author, and mentor to many. Darryl, welcome back to the show. This is your second appearance. We're so glad to have you join us again today.
Yes, welcome.
Well, thank you so much. I'm glad to be back.
We'd like to revisit self-image for a moment. Not everyone on board with the program last week. Can you recap by giving us a few tips to improve our self-image?
I certainly can. One of the things that is really important is that we have good, healthy, positive self-talk, just like you just mentioned a few minutes ago. We have to learn to talk to ourselves in a way that uplifts us rather than talking to ourselves in a way that drags us down. Like we mentioned, I don't know if you have gotten them yet, but we sent out those affirmation cards to you that
Yes, we
says,
did.
I like myself, I love my life, I'm excited, I'm happy, I'm healthy, and I add brightness to the life of everyone I meet. If you start saying those kinds of things to yourself, that is really an important step in raising your self-esteem. But, if you stub your toe, rather than saying, why did I do that? That was stupid. You think of a way to reframe that, and you think, wow, that was a good learning experience. I need to be a little bit more careful about where I put my toe.
Mm-hmm.
So thinking about the way you talk to yourself is one of the most important steps that you can have. But, one of the other things is you have to decide, I'm not going to hang around some of the same people that I've been hanging around because they've been more negative, and that negative thought, that influence is making me not as positive as I should be. And so I need to change some of my habit patterns in life. And so you make that decision of, I am going to be different. I am going to be positive. I am going to be a superstar.
Mm-hmm. And those I am statements become reality if you say them to yourselves often enough. I know, I noticed kind of a checklist somewhere when I was reviewing your materials about developing a self-image, and it said make a victory list, dress up, smile, change your posture. Why do you have those things on your list?
Well, you know, we all have negativity around us. There's none of us. You know, I think I'm a very positive human being. I believe that the two of you are very positive human beings, but we all have challenges in life. We all have the influences of everything that we go through in the course of our life, and so we all have to remind ourselves, this is what I have to be grateful for today. Here's the great things that are happening in my life, and this is why I'm excited about life today, is because of this list of things that I have for myself.
Okay. Would you say that the act of expressing gratitude improves your self-image too?
Absolutely. I really believe that the more grateful that you are, the more you can teach yourself to remind yourself to be grateful every day, really, truly is the springboard to happiness. Gratitude, the more grateful you are every day, the more happiness you bring into your life.
We appreciate the fact that you sent us gratitude coins. I've got them in my gratitude coin in my pocket, and I carry it around with me. It's a great reminder. I really appreciate it.
Well, you know, that physical piece that you touch every day, because you're touching it in your every day, like you said, you're carrying it around in your pocket, that
Right.
physical thing, you'll automatically, your body touches it, your fingers touch it, and that sends that reminder to your brain every time you touch it, and it becomes an automatic subconscious. You know, and I know that you know that more than most.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Oh, he's had so many different kinds of things in his pockets over the years. His pockets are getting pretty heavy, but that's they're all pointing in the same direction, different ways of doing the same thing. And people that are depressed and sad and unhappy and have personal challenges usually have there is always something, however small it is, that they can remind themselves to be grateful for and start there.
You know, one of the things that I think that really is a great habit pattern to raise your self-esteem, but also to raise your level of gratitude of your life, is if you help other people, that really helps you understand, you know, someone else that can use your help. You know, one, they're grateful for the fact that you've helped them, but because you are doing something for someone else, that feeds your level of gratitude that you have in your life. And so if you help another person, then you remember that person, you know, needed my help. And so they have some things that they have in their life that I can help them with, and I have those things, and they don't have those things, so I'm helping them, and that helps you remember, wow, I really do have things to be grateful for.
You had a really difficult background, Darryl. How hard was it for you to begin to realize that gratitude could be helpful in your own transformation? Was it difficult?
You know, I really like that question because, you know, everything that we do that has value is not just a piece of cake. You know, there's an old saying that if it were easy, everybody'd be doing it, and everybody'd be wealthy, everybody would be, you know, living the life of their dreams. And sometimes people look at that and say, well, you know, that's pretty hard. And, you know, I say living a life that is difficult and really does not feed your happiness, that's hard. So, you know, not going where you want to go in life, that's harder than changing some of your habit patterns. And no, they're not always easy. It's always a little bit of a challenge to make a change in your habit patterns, but that's what I had to do. I had to change my habit patterns of the way I talked to myself and the way I acted and the way I reacted.
Right.
You know, that's a good thing to mention, reacting. Uh, no matter what people are looking for, whatever change they're looking for in their lives when they come for hypnotherapy, one of the key things is always to help them to learn how to be an actor in their life, no longer a reactor, and not having knee-jerk reactions and going to the same circumstances, not reacting in the same way we always did, but taking back your power of choice. Our freedom of choice, our free will just gets whittled away without even realizing it. And that's an important first step, is to realize that you have the power to change just by making that choice.
I mean, that is so profound that, you know, I would love to hear you say that again. We have the choice. And once we understand that we have the choice, we really start to springboard ourselves in a much faster manner to the life of our dreams.
Mm-hmm. Darryl, we have about 2 minutes before our first commercial break. So I'm wondering if this might be the right time to ask you to explain your gratitude coin project.
Well, I certainly would love to. You know, I've had the opportunity to start giving gratitude coins to schools around the country. And those schools are using those gratitude coins with their teachers and with their students, where the students will, each day as they might do something that's exceptional, then they get a gratitude coin to carry. And then the next day, that student may take the opportunity to see another student doing something great for the class, and then they pass that gratitude coin on. And I believe just in the last 2 months or so, we've had more than 75 schools around the country start using it. And, you know, we're getting them out to schools as fast as we can, but it has really become a great program where students and teachers are using the gratitude coin to express their gratitude. And it is, you know, starting at such a young age for so many places already.
How is the act of praise connected to how we view ourselves and others?
Well, you know, every time we praise someone, we help them feel special.
Right.
And every time we help someone else feel special because we praise them, that makes us feel special in return. You know, you can't make someone else feel special and see that glow on their face or hear that excitement in their voice and not bring that excitement and that specialness and reward feeling back to yourself again. It truly, I think it is such an underused tool to make ourselves feel better about ourselves, to help others feel better about them. You know, I try to, you know, that's one of the reasons I came up with that gratitude coin, among others, but is to help other people feel special every day as I go through my day and hand those coins out to people and tell them, I'm giving you this gratitude coin because I want you to know that I really feel good about what you've done for me, and I want you to have this so that you know that I'm telling you I really appreciate you. That really fills your heart and really gives you the sense of understanding that you are special. You really, truly are a better human being because you praised another human being.
Yes, yes.
I understand you have some specific guidelines for offering praise. What are your guidelines?
Well, you know, I have a variety, but, you know, I think that if somebody does something for you, you should praise them right then. And if you really want to see, you know, as an example, I was in a restaurant the other day. It was a fast food restaurant. I had to be speaking at an event, and so I went through and got myself a taco. And the young lady that was helping me, she was the manager there, and I gave her a gratitude coin, and I told her I needed to move through quickly, and she was very pleasant, really had a great attitude, and I handed her a gratitude coin, and I said, I just really want you to know I love that beautiful smile that you got. And so we had a little chat, and she said, I really love this idea, and the thought that I could maybe potentially feel better about the way that I'm feeling myself. But she said, I have a variety of employees, and it's such a hard lesson to teach them to have a better attitude, to have that smile, and to really treat the customer the way they should be treated. And I said, here's an idea. Let's say that you take one of those employees that you think their attitude could just use a little bit of a lift. As soon as you see them do that, just do something. Is what I meant to say. Just as soon as you see them do something that is right, something that you could praise them for, even if it's just a little something that you could praise them for, praise them, hand them that gratitude coin, and say, here's this gratitude coin. I noticed you did this nice thing for one of the customers, and I wanted to point it out to you, and I want you to take this gratitude coin so that you remember I praised you for that. And so I said, the second piece of that is you praise them right away, but the second piece of it is as soon as you see them doing something good again, or some little gesture that you could praise them for, praise them again and again and again. So praise them often. Do it now and do it often.
Great. I certainly agree.
So praise immediately and praise consistently and continually. This is a great opportunity for people to call in and talk to you in person. Didn't mean to, I'm not sure if you were finished with your thought. You were talking about guidelines for offering praise.
I'm sure I could go on for a while.
All right, then let's talk about recalling past successes. That's a way to be grateful. Tell us why and how that works.
Well, anytime we've all done things that are right. No matter how bad we feel about ourselves, or no matter how bad we feel our life is going right this minute, we've all done something in the past that we've done right and that we feel good about, and that brings some good feeling when we think about that. And so that's what I really suggest people do is, as you need to raise your self-esteem and you need to raise your feeling of worth, think about something you've done in the past that really you did well. You really know it made you feel good when you did it because you did it so well. Think back to those times and really, close your eyes if you need to, and really resonate the idea of what those feelings. Think those feelings again. Bring yourself back to that event so that you're almost reliving it in your mind, and then that will help you relive the emotion. It'll help you relive the feeling of what you felt like, and that will raise your self-esteem, and it will raise your feeling good about yourself.
And that, in a nutshell, is why we've invited you on for a 3-part series. We have, we know that your program doesn't necessarily, you don't necessarily use hypnosis in a very direct way. You're helping people in many different ways to improve their self-image, and you have your own processes. But last week you were talking about, going into a quiet space, into a darkness, and being in touch with yourself and writing your ideas down. And according to what you just said, we have people come in all the time who need to boost their self-esteem, their image, their confidence, and they do in hypnosis exactly what you were just describing. They do a mental rehearsal, if you want to call it that, or imagination with intention. They get a vivid picture in their mind of the time that they could, in this case, something that they could be grateful for, something that happened, something they felt or did, whatever it is. They get that picture, they see it, feel it, touch it, taste it. They resonate with those feelings that they haven't had in a long time, and that helps them to move forward, feel it with gratitude, filled with gratitude, and releasing negativity and the things that are holding them down.
I mean,
So,
that is, again, that is so profound that, we have to remind people you can take yourself into a state that allows you to bring back that emotion at will if you choose. If I start finding myself in a position that I'm have some issues with something that's going on in my day and I want to get that information out of my head, I literally go into a state of a great time. It might have been last week, it might have been 6 months ago, it might have been last year, but I go back into that state and remind myself, here's the excitement of life, and that literally crowds the other thing out of my head and brings my state back into a positive, forward-thinking excitement.
That's I'll use your word, profound, because we get what we think about, we get what we focus on. If we're focusing on the negativity and we're focusing on we can't or we shouldn't or we're afraid or whatever it is, that's what happens. And I love it that you just throw yourself into that state whenever you're feeling down in any way and reconnect with those positive, healthy feelings.
And, that takes a little bit of practice, just like anything, Anytime you learn a new habit pattern, it takes a little practice to get good at it. And, you're not going to be exceptional the first time you've done it, and it's not going to give you the depth of feeling the first time you do it. But if you practice it over and over again, you'll get to the point where you can do that at will and do it with an extreme emotion that will really raise your excitement level.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And then it's a whole new world when you go back to whatever it is you were doing.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt.
Before we did the show, I was Googling a list, one psychologist's list of basic human needs. And the very first, he listed 9. I know different people come up with different lists. They all say pretty approximately the same thing for building a solid foundation psychologically for happiness. And the very first thing at the top of the list is the need to give and receive attention, which is gratitude, what we're talking about today. And the 8th thing that was on that list was the need for a sense of status and recognition from others. So this is really powerful, important stuff that we're talking about. Gratitude is not just fluff. It's very important and central to everybody's lives. Wouldn't you say?
It absolutely is. And everyone wants to feel special. And right now, it's my belief that the world has gotten to a point of, big companies, big governments, big, it just doesn't seem to feel like a lot of people think that they're significant members of society. I'm just here, I'm just doing my day-to-day routine that really doesn't seem to be really going anywhere in life. And so they don't feel special. And that's such a shame that someone doesn't feel special, because that's an absolute need in life, that we need to feel special. And so if we want to be special, then we know somebody else wants to feel special also. And so if we take the opportunity and we start thinking about, how do I tell somebody every day, letting someone that I pass that crosses my path, how do I let them know that they're special today, that they're special to me? And so by giving a word of thanks, or, that's one of the reasons I use the gratitude coin, is that's a way I can give that piece to someone that they can touch that thing and they can remember, somebody told me I was special today. And that makes you feel special because you help someone else feel special. And so even if you're just talking to somebody, try to remember every day to do something for another person that helps them feel special. That is so fulfilling.
Jim does that all the time. One of the things I really love about him, you tell people everywhere you go, you might just say, you have a beautiful smile, or I like that dress, or whatever it is. And people just open, it's amazing what you see in their faces. It's as if nobody ever tells them something good about themselves. It's when you do that, when you just say something nice to somebody about who they are or how they look, it completely changes them. They transform before your very eyes.
Gratitude is an opportunity for you to tie them into their success in life and make them feel good about themselves. You talk about anchoring your success, but what anchors do you use to anchor your success, Darryl?
Well, I have a variety of things that I use. Obviously, we're talking about the gratitude coin today, and so that is certainly one of my anchors. Because I'm physically touching that coin, every time I touch that coin, it brings back the memory of the thought of what it is I'm grateful for today. Every time I touch that. So, but here's a little example that I started using that I had an issue with. I've always been a busy person. I've been in business for more than 35 years now, and so I've grown 5 companies, national and international, in that 35 years. So in order to take 5 different companies, national and international, I've been a very busy person. And so one of the things that I allowed to become a little bit of a negative point for me was every time I was in traffic, it would create a negative thought for me, and it would create some negative emotions. I was excited. I didn't like the fact that there was so much traffic out there I couldn't get to where I was going as fast as I needed to go. And so I said, you're making your car a negative place for you to be because you're always running a little late. And so every time you get in that car, that whole experience of getting to where you need to go, it becomes a negative experience. And so I said, you've got to change that for yourself. And I said, here's what I'm going to do. Every time I get into a situation where the traffic is heavy and I've gotten behind someone that I think is going a little too slow and it starts my nervous energy going a little too high, I'm going to use the brake pedal as an anchor to change my state. I'm going to touch that brake pedal, and I'm going to start singing in my mind a great song that I love to hear. One of my favorites is the Beach Boys, California Girls. And so, that was the very first thing that I started with. I would start training myself so that every time I got into some traffic, I'd touch that brake pedal and I'd start singing, wouldn't it be wonderful if all the girls were California girls? And I changed my mindset so that when I touched that, I would literally start singing that song. I'd put a smile on my face. I'd make myself smile and start singing that song. And it literally, over a little bit of time, it changed that experience. And now I don't have that nervous energy about being in traffic. I find going somewhere now is a fun experience because every time I'm in traffic, I'm hitting that brake pedal, I'm singing another song, and I'm making, that smile automatically comes on my face now, and it has literally changed an anchor of what was negative to being a very positive experience for me.
Now, I wish I had your insight on the way over here today. I lost it. I was thinking you ain't nothing but a hound dog.
You are soulmates on the road, that's for sure. And we both kind of winked at each other. Now we have a new anchor in hypnosis for people with road rage. Just They can use that brake pedal as an anchor. That's a phenomenal example of how you can reframe your thinking and your emotions and remind yourself that you control your response. You can't control the traffic, but you can control how you respond to it and make it a healthier, happier ride.
Well, it's easy to say because we've learned those lessons. It's easy to say you can change and you can control it. You are in control. But, a lot of people will say, well, but I don't know how to control it. Where do I start? And my opinion is that you start with very small things. Do something that is going to be the easiest thing that you could possibly do and start building that little habit pattern around a small, I use the analogy, stick your toe in the water and do a small thing that starts building that habit pattern. And then as you build that small habit pattern, then you can work your way up to different habit patterns. And the more you do that, the more you practice those little things, then it gives you the confidence, it gives you the abilities to learn how to do bigger and better things to change your life.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Outstanding. And you do those little things, and it gives you more confidence that you get that confidence that you have the ability to change. I was going to ask you how you create and use anchors, but I think that your example of the brake pedal that's probably exactly what you were going to say, isn't it?
It is.
Find your own anchor.
Yeah, depending on what the situation is for you. Let's say that you're working in a job that you're not all that excited about. And so as you go in, people around you, because there's always negativity around any of us. And so you go into that job that you're not all that excited about, some of the negativity that goes on there. And so, you use that showing up at that job that you're not really all that happy about, and you use it as a negative anchor. And so it makes you almost distraught to go to work every day. It's like, I hate this place, and so a way to change that would be, let's say that I worked at Walmart, and I'm a cashier at Walmart, and I think, people are rude when they talk to me. They don't even talk to me. They don't, I'm not excited. I'm not making the kind of money that I should be making. I'm not making the kind of contribution I should be making. But then you say, I'm a cashier at Walmart, and I'm going to use, how they have that little bar that you put in between each customer's products that are on the little belt that brings the things down to the cashier. If I were a cashier, I'd say every time I pick that bar up in between the next customer, and I pick it up to set it onto the little tray so that it goes to the next customer, every time I touch that little bar, I'm going to automatically smile. I'm going to force myself to smile the very first time I touch that, and then I'm going to reach out to that customer and say, hey, how's your day going today? And, I'm going to do my best job to get you through this line as quickly as I can, because I want you to be excited about the fact that I'm your cashier today. And you start doing something like that, and, practice time after time, touching that bar, putting that smile on your face, you're saying, you're reaching out to the customer and saying a great little positive thing, and then all of a sudden, within a few weeks, you've started a new habit pattern, and you've started making your life feel better, doing the very same thing that a month earlier you felt like you hated showing up for. You can change, and you must change the way that you look at your life.
Oh, Darryl, that's fantastic.
It is fantastic.
And that's what I'm grateful for at this moment, is that example that you just gave us. Darryl, we have a couple more minutes to talk, and I wanted you to speak a little bit about affirmations. You make wide use of affirmations, and they're different from the anchoring process we were talking about. Tell us how you use affirmations.
Well,
in relation to gratitude.
It really is something that we have to do. We have to learn to reaffirm to ourselves every day, because we do have so much outside interference that comes into our life. There's so many negative things that are out there. I mean, you can't turn on the television and not have negativity blasting almost every channel that you're on. And so, you can't go into a restaurant that you don't have some kind of information, talk radio in some kind, in some senses, some talk radios really truly spend time talking about negativity in life. And so we have to bring that back to ourselves and say, I have to have a very different thought pattern. And so I have to reaffirm to myself every day, I like myself. I love my life. I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm healthy. And I add brightness to the life of everyone I meet. That's a piece that I've had on my mirror for years. And, how can I tell myself day after day, looking in my eyes and just say it with so much passion, I add brightness to the life of everyone I meet, and not be able to overcome negativity. You have to reaffirm day after day. And if you want to have an exciting life, and who does not? Who wants to have a life that is not exciting and not fulfilling? That's not life. So we must reaffirm every day.
Absolutely.
Absolutely is right.
Darryl, we have about 4 minutes till the close of the show, so that means we have maybe 1 or 2 minutes left to talk to you. Is there one key point that you would like people to take away?
Well, we're talking about gratitude today, and in that light, go out and show gratitude to another person. Make someone's life feel special today, and it will come back to you. Everything you give, you get back again. And that means if I give somebody the feeling of specialness, then I get the feeling of specialness. So make it a conscious effort today and for the rest of the week. Each time you get an opportunity, help someone feel special. Think of a way that you can make them feel special, and that will change your week.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Darryl. I'm going to take this opportunity to announce next week's show. Next week, we have Darryl back on the show for the final of this 3-part series. And next week, he's going to be wrapping it up with a discussion about the power of perseverance. I like to call the third show the how-to show, or as Nike would say, the just do it show. Because if I'm understanding correctly, Darryl, you've helped us to understand the importance and what is self-image. And we've talked about gratitude and the power that gratitude has in our lives. But next week, we'll be talking about clarifying the difference between being unable to do and unwilling to do, and how to actually get on a positive path toward change, how to savor your setbacks actually as a part of the process and learn lessons from them, how to use those affirmations we were just talking about to keeping on, and actively reflect on which is more unfortunate, not having a dream or not realizing the dream you have. So next week, Darryl, I guess you're going to be telling us how to put all this into practice and actually make that dream come true. Is that right?
Absolutely, and that really is the key. Is next week we're going to talk again, step-by-step process of how you take control of your life and how you bring excitement to your life, but how you keep doing it till you achieve what you have set out to achieve.
That's Darryl. You've given us so many gems today. I'll have to listen to this show more than once and make sure that I get them all. And I know that the listeners out there have gotten so much out of
Absolutely.
listening to you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank
Well,
you very
I
much.
really appreciate you allowing me to be part of your program, and I think we did a great job today.